I'm now looking at Skills 7. So it says the rule times 12 is used to show the relationship between the position of a number in the pattern and the value of that number. Which table shows the relationship? So we're looking at A, B, C, D. So first I'm going to look. It says the rule is times 12. Well, I know anything here in the middle. This is my rule. It's telling my input. Oh, I already put input. My input what to do. So I know that this is my rule. So my rule says I have to multiply by 12. So I'm going to box in all my rules. So I boxed in all my rules already. Now I'm going to look. My position should always be 1, 2, 3, 4. Depending on how long my table is or how long my chart is. It can go on for however, but it has to go 1, 2, 3, 4, on and on and on as it can. So here I'm looking. I'm looking at my position 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but this one has 12. I know this one cannot be my answer. So now I'm going to look at the relationships or the rule. It says I have to multiply by 12. And we talked about this in the input-output table. Our rule has to be consistent throughout. It cannot just apply to the first view or the last view. And we need to think of it as this was an actual classroom. It would not be fair if I only gave some rules to some people and not to others. So our rule has to stay consistent. That means our rule should constantly be times 12, times 12, times 12, times 12. So let's look. This one so far says times 12, and 1 times 12 is 12. So far that's correct. But what about this one? This one says times 6. This is not following the directions. This is not following my rule. So I know that this is wrong. And can you see here that they put 12, 12, 12? They wanted to trick us. They thought we didn't know what the rule meant, but we know the rule is our numerical expression. So this one is off. Now we're going to look at B and then D. So B, I'm going to look. This one says to divide by 1, add 0, minus 0, times 1. These are all different, and I know that that's not supposed to happen. Our rule needs to stay consistent, and our rule needs to be to multiply 12. So I know this one's wrong as well. Now I'm going to look at letter D. My positions seem correct. My values seem correct. Now let's look. I have 1 times 12. Does that equal 12? Yes. 2 times 12? That's 24. 3 times 12? That's 36. 4 times 12? That is 48. And look, my rule stayed consistent throughout. Each position followed the same rule. This is the only answer that makes sense. Now I'm going to go and look at letter B. It says my rule is to add 42. To show the relationship between the position of the number in the pattern and the value of that number. Which table shows this relationship? Well, again, I'm going to box in my relationship or my rule. I'm going to go and do it to each one. And I'm going to look. Our positions here don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know I have to follow the rule. So my rule says I have to add 42. And what did I mention? My rule has to stay consistent. It should have plus 42, plus 42, plus 42, plus 42, all the way down. So let's look at letter F. Does this one say to add 42? Yes. Does this one say to add 42? Yes, yes, and yes. Now let's make sure it's true. What is 2 plus 42? That is 44. What is 4 plus 42? 46. What is 6 plus 42? That is 48. What is 8 plus 42? That is 50. So far, this is my maybe. Now let's look over here. Let's look at letter G. Let's look at what I'm adding. I need to add 42. Is this adding 42 to my rule? Nope. Is this adding 4? Nope. None of these are following my rule of adding 42. So this is wrong. And again, they put 42, 42, 42, 42, which is something I said does have to stay consistent. So they try to trick us again, but we know what our rule is. So now let's look here. This says plus 40. Is that what we need to do? No, we need to add 42. So that's not following the rule. That's not following the rule. None of these are following the rules. Is this correct? No. Again, with the 42, 42, 42, but we know this has to apply to the rule. Again here, I have 42 times 1, 42 minus 0, 42 divided by 1, plus, nope, this should be plus 42, and it is not. It's different rules, and our rules need to stay consistent, so our only answer would be F.